I am really hoping that everybody can hear me. Okay, I got a 5x5. Let's see if I got this going. Yeah, I think we ought to. If I'm not mistaken, I think I fixed it. Do we get a 5x5? I'm hoping I got 5x5. Hoping that I can be heard. 5x5. There we go. Let's get this thing underway, shall we? Let's turn this thing around. What do you think? All right. Kristen Melinda, good to have you on board, Kristen. Dallas, Texas. Lacey Silver, good to have you here, Lacey. V. McWilliams, glad you're here. Robert Hall, what's up? Lacey Silver. Auntie KK. Caitlin, glad that you are here. Didi Razzle Dazzle, what's up, Didi? Glad you're here. Truly, I am. Laura Lee Smith, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Feisty Kitty. I'm glad you're here. Lisa Trimble is in the house. Glad you're here, Lisa. Welcome to the boat. Let's see. Vixen is here. Air Supply. Always loved Air Supply. Great band. Debbie Blair. Mr. Wolf. How are you, Mr. Wolf? You know, if I ever come home and there's somebody in my house laying, I'm calling Mr. Wolf because he is the man. Packers Girl. Michelle, thank you. Glad you're here. You are sold. Cooter by the Lake. That's right. I said it. Lisa Mueller, how are you? Saguaro Christmas, Mad Wabbit. That looks like a Texas, kind of looks like a Texas flag there, Mad Wabbit. Allison Metcalf Palumbo, Gypsy Sprinkle, hello. Blues Baby 17, I dig it. Cliff and Ferguson, My Own Eyes and Ears, and Bailey is here. Third Eye Open, what's happening? Layla and the Johnny Scoville. You guys know the Johnny Scoville, don't you? He's kind of a big deal. He's a bit of a legend, that Johnny Scoville. Pamela Morrow is here. Kiki Cookerson, how are you? Horton Fissel, there's my man. Kathy Wright, Alicia, SMG Infinity. SMG Infinity. Mary E. Barons Oni, glad you're here. Well, thank you for spending some time with us. Antoinette. Jason P. Master Mod. I'm starting to, I'm going to work in some of the expressions that I think would go over really well in either say a Mormon temple or a Freemason. Not that there's a great deal of difference anymore, but you know what I'm saying. So as opposed to just being a wrench, it's going to be the master position, right? Instead of just being, run of the mill. I like working the word master in there anytime I can. You know what I mean? I think it works. A master mod. Jason P. Diane, good to have you here. Athena Noel. Hey, how are you? That's how you do that. Hey, Pam, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Pam, were you bummed out a little bit in the last chat you were in? I won't put anybody on blast. But you know what, man? I'm going to keep moving towards love. It's kind of how we're going to have to do it. It's just going to have to be that simple. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm in the wrong place. And that's kind of going to have to be how it is. That's about as cryptic as I'm going to get. And you know what? I've been in 9 people's chats today, so that shouldn't narrow it down too much. Really, if I'm Air Supply, thank you so much for bailing me out in more ways than one. I really do appreciate you for doing that. Thank you. And thank you for the support. So let's talk about Ye, shall we? You know who I'm talking about. This would be the artist formerly known as Kanye West. I believe now he's going just with Ye. Hey, Lumen, how are you? I think he's just going with Ye. Now, I'm all for reinventing yourself. My wasn't born Tommy Scoville. I got no problems with people reinventing themselves. I think that that's a beautiful thing. Providing, that you're not just swapping out a name and maybe just being the same asshat. And to be really honest with you, the anti-Semitic stuff, man, isn't moving towards love. There's just no way around that. Anti-Semitism or hate of any kind, you are moving away from love, and you don't need Tommy Scoville to tell you that. So this newest batch of rants that Ye went on, we're getting a lot of press about the fact that he said, hey, free Puff. And he's going to be doing a collaboration with Sean John. You've heard of them, right? Because I'm sure that I can't think of anyone I know that isn't thinking, you know what I need for the 4th of July this year is some Sean John clothing. You talk about a dude that is out of business. when it comes to anybody wanting to buy merch, even in irony, even to just be ironic and say, yeah, I bought a free Puff shirt. Because I can see you being ironic. I can see where people would find it funny to go, ah, dude, check it out. I bought a free Puff shirt. You know, I think the first of the free shirts way back in the day, and if we have people here of a specific age, I'm going to throw ages out. It's like asking Blake Lively how much she weighs. But I would never do that. But if there are people here of a certain age, you may remember right before Sid Vicious checked out of planet Earth, he got busted and he got brought into Rikers Island, and there were a lot of free Sid shirts. I think that was the first big one, was the free Sid Vicious shirts. There was a lot of those out there. Lisa Trimble's tossing out those memberships in like their hot sauce packets. So if you just turned green, you can thank Lisa Trimble for that. Hey, Tommy Bird, what's happening, brother? Roberta. So look, let's talk about some of these, because they're really some of these. They're not tweets. What are they called now? You know what, man? I'm calling them freaking tweets. I'm sorry, Elon. Give me a call. We'll work this out. You got to come up with a better name, man. Have you ever noticed that when I do this one with the hand, it's like the cell phones from like Miami Vice when they had the big Motorola brick phone? When I do this, it doesn't look like everybody else's cell phone. It's like I got the big Motorola brick. Buy the free Puff. You know what's funny is a couple of really big name people recently have been seen wearing shirts that say allegedly on them. And you guys all send me emails and say, oh man, I saw a really famous person wearing a shirt that said allegedly. The way merch works, I have no idea if it's any of our stuff or if there's a bunch of other people making shirts that say allegedly. It would make a lot of sense to think that that I can't be the only person making allegedly merch. I doubt anyone else sings it with the with the style that I do. I would drop one on you right now, but you just can't sing an allegedly for no apparent reason. You kind of got to work it in there. On the bright side, we're going to be talking about Diddy, and we're going to be talking about Ye. So I would imagine it won't take long to work a couple of allegedlys in there. So he comes out. Now, I'm going to play armchair psychiatrist or psychologist a couple of times today. And you guys can feel free to disagree with me because I'm not always right. You know what I mean? In fact, I'm very often I'm wrong, but I'm gonna weigh in on this because Kanye came out and made a point to tell us that he's not bipolar, right? He is instead on the autism spectrum. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist. I am not a doctor of any sort. Occasionally it gets tossed around as an honorary title. But seriously, I'm not a doctor, but I do absolutely. I will put allegedly on a hoodie. You have my word. You're the second person to ask me that today. I will get allegedly on a hoodie for you. You have my word. We'll get that done. Allegedly. No, I really will get that done. I'm kidding. But so back to the weirdo here, and I'm sorry, but he is. These anti-Semitic rants and these things that seemingly make no sense. If you've ever been around somebody who suffers from untreated bipolar disorder, when I took that medication and things were going really, really bad for me, I was doing rapid cycle bipolar. And while I was riding that, like the high part of it, while you're going through sort of the manic phase, you have all of these ideas that, by the way, are usually dog crap. But in your head, this is the smartest thing you've ever come up with. And it's an epiphany. Where's my girl? I said epiphany. It's this epiphany that you have. And all of a sudden you start feeling smart. All of a sudden you start feeling like maybe you got all of this figured out. I think that this man suffers from from untreated mental illness. And look, this doesn't make me Nostradamus. I'm not coming up with anything that I think almost everybody is assuming, right, that this is the case. Everybody is assuming that this guy needs treatment in a very big way. And he does. Make no mistake. This cat has to be in need of treatment. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I want to like Kanye West. I really do. But the anti-Semitic stuff, you start praising Hitler, man, then the people around you need to step in. Those are not the rantings of a look, there are racist people out there. There are people out there that are anti-Semites, that hate Jews. But it doesn't seem like this lines up with the earlier versions that we used to see of Kanye West, right? This is a very different version. Now, I'm not saying Kanye's not done crazy stuff his entire life, but if you noticed, it comes in waves. And then we get the apology tour right on the heels of it, like when he was going off about the former vice president. Look, man, the woman's out of office. Let it go, right? I mean, the Kamala Harris, but he goes on this big Kamala Harris rant only to apologize. I mean, within a short period of time, these don't look like the kind of things that someone who's got their faculties, and there is a shift, and it looks to me to be very much like a rapid cycle bipolar shift. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm a drug addict, but I've known so many people that have suffered with this. And this is logical if you think about it, because most people who suffer from bipolar disorder will try to medicate it themselves. This is a recurring theme for a lot of people that have that. So, you do, if you're hanging out with people that are trying to get sober, you're going to run into a lot of people like that. Yeah, this is fairly common. This happened a lot. There were a lot of guys in prison that would be on the medication. I talked about Charles Little Nut Miller. You can look him up because he's a hoot. Charles Little Nut Miller. But when I did time with him, he was the kindest, one of the nicest people that you would ever want to meet, right? Just a very, very kind, spoken black dude. And when he stopped taking his medication, he just went completely off the rails. And he would come up to you and go, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, what's your registered number?" And you'd go, "Bro, why do you want my registered number?" "I'm going to put some money on your books." And he would do it. He'd start putting money all over people's books. And at this point, I was past doing dope and doing all that. Like, I was at the end of my run of being a convict. And I was saying to him, "Hey, man, stop this." You know what I mean? Like, stop doing what you're doing. But to watch the switch get thrown, where somebody goes from their brain chemistry is okay and things are going good, and the next thing you know, they're on YouTube telling their audience they hate them. Sorry, I did that once. It's a frightening thing to not be in control, but I think it's a far more frightening thing, the fact that when you're in it, you don't know you're in it. When you're in it, you feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like that, maybe for the first time, you really you got a handle on this. Like, I've been confused in the past, but right now I feel fantastic. I don't need that freaking medication. Like, those doctors are stupid. But I think the statement in and of itself, "Hey, I'm not bipolar," right? Figured this out. I'm not bipolar anymore. Does that mean you stop taking the medication for it? Because I think that's what we're looking at. Honestly, folks, I think that's what we're looking at. I think let's see, formerly known as Kanye West sparked a controversy with an all caps rant on X praising Hitler, making anti-Semitic statements and defending Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs. In less than 24 hours, his social media meltdown quickly drew backlash from fans and critics alike. He announced he was going to be selling Sean John shirts to support his friend Sean Combs, who is in prison facing multiple charges, and made inflammatory remarks about the Me Too movement and his wife, Bianca Censori. You know her last name is Censori. I didn't know that until today. You do know what that means, right? Such a funny freaking, I can't believe her last name is Censori. He also revealed that he was recently diagnosed with autism, claiming a misdiagnosis of bipolar disorder. All of his controversial posts remain alive as of X on Friday. He said, talking about Sean Combs, that they're going after him, right? That this is kind of a hit job or whatever. But he said that Sean Combs is doing this for everybody. He made it sound like he was Jesus. It was some of the most disturbing stuff. He was like, this is like Diddy was a god to him. It was unhinged. And when you compare it to things that have been said in the past, it just comes off as unhinged. I can't find the guy's stuff funny anymore. And to be really honest with you, I used to. I used to get a kick out of it. And I know that that's not cool, man. You know, I realize, but there's something about the guy where you start going, he's almost funny. He's almost funny. I got to find this one quote for you. Oh, he also said this one, which is a Jim dandy. I have dominion over my wife. This ain't no woke ass feminist shit. She's with a billionaire. Why would she listen to any of you dumb, broke, whats, female dogs? He continued, yeah, I don't make her do nothing she don't want to do, but she definitely wouldn't have been able to do it without my approval. Oh, yeah, 2025. Here's the incredible thing, right? With all of that, there's a woman out there going, yeah. If this Sensori thing doesn't work out, I'm going after that guy. That's what I'm looking for. I'm sorry, folks. There needs to be a happy medium. You know what I mean? There needs to be a happy medium. Like, I think the guy needs to be a little bit more, he's a guy. He's my job. If somebody comes to the house to go after the people there, I kind of feel like maybe that's my job to make sure that doesn't happen. Right? That's kind of a division of labor kind of thing. I feel pretty good about taking care of the household and doing all that. But the whole, hey, Quibs would need to run something by me for permission thing. Can you imagine me trying to sell that to Reese? I mean, don't get me wrong. Check, please. This says SMG Infinity. That's great. Kanye sounds delightful, says Shelly. Yes, he does. Doesn't he? Sounds like a hell of a guy. But in a perfect world, yeah, you get permission from your mate, but you do it by sitting down and saying, hey, does this benefit the both of us? Is this a good thing? Maybe a little give, a little take, that kind of a thing. Maybe some good conversation, work this kind of a thing out. But that sounded, I don't know, just a bit sexist. And he's catching a lot of heat. We all saw his girl on the red carpet, for all intents and purposes, naked, right? Actually, naked. I'm sorry. Naked is when you have no clothing on, but what you're doing, you have bad intent. You know what I mean? They were naked. If it's just you alone, you're probably naked. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Jennifer Hill says, oh, my Prince Charming. Well, yeah, if you saw him standing there doing the pimp thing, well, I don't care what you call it. He's, for all intents and purposes, he's demanding that his girl takes that off. I mean, that's really what he's doing. And it's pretty damn disgusting. But so he said he recently found out that Diddy can't make any money while he's in while he's at MDC Brooklyn, which also does go to show that, damn, this guy's not very bright. How do you not know that? So I'm sorry, because he's a criminal. He should know this. And I'm sorry, I believe the man to be a criminal. I said it. I believe the man to be a criminal. I do. Allegedly, there are women out there that have accused this guy of some really rank stuff. And I got news for you. How fast do you think the world is going to believe Miss Sensori if she comes out with a claim in, say, a month or two and says, you know what? I didn't want to be out there doing that. I didn't want to be doing any of this stuff. I saw a really interesting clip, and you guys may have seen it. It is from an adult film star. The old P word. The people that make the adult films, the people that film themselves having intercourse. You know what I'm talking about? One of those kind of stars. And they were talking to her, and she said she knows for a fact. In fact, she started to snap off some screenshots of some text messages back and forth between Ye and some friends, or between her and friends about Ye. Apparently, Kanye likes to get into freak-offs. That's what this woman alleges. It has been alleged that he digs the freak-off thing too, and I mean right down to the same stuff. Now, I'm not saying that it's not consensual, because she didn't say that, but all she said was he likes to hire some talent, male talent, to come in and do the same kind of thing that that Diddy was having done with to his girl. Now, this makes you wonder, does money make you all just stupid as hell? Or is it just that the stupid as hell people seem to be getting rich? It doesn't make sense to me. Do you think Ye has immunity? Did he make a deal? You could say what you want with immunity. You know what? I mean, he's firing off like he doesn't care. That's an interesting point. I think he's unhinged. I don't think he realizes the amount of damage one way or another he's doing to not only his career but maybe people's lives. Look, you have to kind of open the door for the possibility that Ms. Sensori is really into nudity, and that, look, she's been spotted damn near naked everywhere. And we saw a little clip of film last week of her giving a mouth hug to her boyfriend while she was on one of those boats, right? Allegedly, that's what was happening. And it kind of looked that way. But weirdly, her mom was on the boat with them. You know what, man? I don't care how bad I want to get down. If my Scoville's in the neighborhood, I've lost the. Come on, get it together. What the hell's the matter with these people? Why wasn't she arrested for indecent exposure? Pretty sure she would have been arrested in my county. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. And if a minor was anywhere near the area, she'd likely get a lewd and lascivious in the presence of a minor charge. Well, I'll tell you something. Make no mistake. If a dude walked out there and just like dropped off the big fur coat, right, and had like, pipe just hanging out for the world to see, I promise you that cat would be arrested. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it, and I love when it doesn't look like a dollar symbol, because there's just something so cool about knowing that that we're worldwide. You know what I mean? I love that. And I love that Robert has not forgotten the cutest cat in the house. What, that little white thing? I mean, yeah, she's furry and she's cute and she's like, actually she's gotten quite big. She's almost as big as Squirrel. That cat's growing like nothing I've ever seen in my life. Just absolutely crazy. I really don't think the kids need to witness this in public. They simply don't care. Well, here's the thing, Evening Star. Right? So, and I don't know if you heard about this. We're going to cover this on the I do a show with Casper every single morning. We do a 2-hour morning show where and Casper's got skills. So we bring on clips and I talk about stuff. But there were 2 cops just busted in New Jersey for the manufacturing of CP. They were manufacturing CP in their house for the purpose of selling it. 2 Jersey cops. And the people that they were filming were relatives. These were their kids. You want to talk about some paperwork you don't want to go into being incarcerated with? I mean, Casper and I will talk about this story. It's called After the Bars is the name of our morning show. Morning Mayhem. After the Bars is the name of the channel. We'll cover this on the Morning Mayhem show, but I was absolutely disgusted. The good news is, though, that we're hearing the story. This is a cop, right? 2025 is the year because cops get away with this kind of crap. By the way, I don't think there's a lot of bad cops. Let me say that off the top. People ask me all the time, what percentage of cops do you think are bad? I think it's in the single digits. I really do. I think it's in the single digits. I think 90+% of cops that get in it for the right reason. They stay that way. They're there to protect and serve. Sure, some of them get burned out. That's kind of how it goes. But I really do believe there are way more good cops than bad cops. But you want to talk about 2 people. The woman, I can't talk about what's going to happen to the woman. I'm sure it's going to be shitty there too. But I definitely can talk about the guys. And to go in there, first of all, they're going to have to PC him, whether he wants to be PC'd or not. He's going to protective custody. But regardless of the PC, even the guys back there aren't going to be cool with that. Even the people in PC aren't going to be cool with that. You were filming your kids for money. You're the scum of the earth. You're the lowest of the low. Oh, I love to hear that, Robert Hall. I really do. I love to hear that. Robert Hall says, Tommy, I'm really enjoying you and Casper on After the Bars. I have made every live except this morning. I watched it on the replay, though. I heard this morning, I guess Casper was saying he was having some problems with the recording from this morning. But, hey, you see what I did there? A little rhyme. But, that was a good one. We have a lot of fun there. We're ironing out all of the bugs, but it is really, really an awful lot of fun. And the juxtaposition of two guys that met in the crappiest situation that you could meet in life. And I'm not just talking about prison, because prison sucks, but we were in the shoe at Black Canyon, and it is, I'm not joking, people, it is out of any horror movie that you've ever seen in terms of just the ugliest place that you've ever had to take a nap. I mean, I can laugh about it now, and I do, but I can't begin to tell you just how disgusting that place was. They make the shoe out of cinder blocks, and in your cell, right? You're not gonna destroy your cell. As crazy as it sounds, you live there. But in the shoe, you never leave. You can't. So they start trying to chisel through the walls so they can pass contraband to the next cell. So they chip out the mortar. And it becomes an epidemic. It happens all the time in the shoes. So they bring in big pieces of steel and they just sandwich the concrete so that you now can't get through the steel. But it gives a place for cockroaches to get behind there and colonize. And you would sit in the room, and if everybody was quiet, you would just hear them on everywhere, like all of the walls, everything you do, just nonstop. It was... And I was there 14 months. And I'm not joking. Having Casper there for 7 of them made that 7 really easy months of doing time, in spite of all the disgusting. And it was freaking disgusting. And as soon as you got it to where you couldn't see him anymore, they moved you. Every 21 days, you got a new cell. They moved you every 21 days. So let's get back to Kanye West and Diddy. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of theories about what exactly is going on in this. Diddy has responded through his kids to thank, Ye for the fact that Sean John and Kanye West, here, put a 2 in the chat if you intend to buy some of this, and put a 3 in the chat if you find that really, really funny. I'm sorry, people. Who the hell is going to buy anything from Sean John? This is the embodiment of evil on the planet Earth today. I'm not being funny with that. This guy has become the straw man. Now, he maintains his innocence. And of course, his attorney has said, you can't answer to every single stupid charge that comes down the pike. And from his point of view, look, there's no way every one of these lawsuits is real. Now, I can say that, because one at a time, I'm going to believe every single one of them. I'm never going to call somebody out and say, but none of us are dumb enough to believe that there aren't some people that are going to be taking advantage of this situation so that they can step in there. And now, those probably come in a couple of flavors. My gut says that there were probably some people he was really, really, really bad to, but he maybe didn't essay. But if you knew that you had been alone with this guy a ton, and there's a bunch of footage of the two of you hanging out all the time, there are going to be some people that might take advantage of this. If that sounds cynical, I'm sorry. But the money, this is a flipping industry now, people. It really is. And it's not a one-man industry. It kind of smells like it is with everything that Busby's doing. But there are 3 or 4 different attorneys now that are suing Sean Combs. And we haven't seen the end of that. I promise you we haven't. Yeah, you know what, Professor Patty, I'm sorry. And truthfully, I'm not even doing it justice. I'm not doing it justice. I've told the story many times, but the first night I got brought to the hole, they put me in a cell alone because I had hit a cop and I was pepper sprayed to hell, and it was just a bad situation. So I got put in there alone. You can't throw the light. There's no light switch. So you have to put a kite in the door. You put a little piece of paper in the door that says turn on the light or turn off the light or whatever you want to do. So I put a note in the door for the cop. You did one on an envelope and you just stick it out there. People draw on them and get creative, but you have to ask the cop to do whatever. So I wrote, please turn off the lights, right? I shoved it out there and I had just put my mattress down and everything else. The cop came right up and the windows are this wide, right? And the cop puts his face in the window and he's like, Rock, you want me to turn the light off? And I went, yeah. And he's like, why? And I said, because I'm going to be going to sleep. And he went, all right, brother. And he flipped the switch off and nonstop, Dan. I mean, instantly. He didn't even get to the end of the hall. And I was yelling like a Girl Scout. Ah, get back here. As soon as the lights went off, man, they ran across my body. They went, I mean, everywhere. It was something. I found you, Broadboard brand to the new Piney Woods, and still trying to get you and Casper. I've been on my butt since I fixed my femur 2 years ago. Wow, no way. That hurts, man. I am so sorry. Well, I'm glad that you got us, but I'm sorry to hear that you're laid up. Was I ever in county jail under Sheriff Joe Arpaio? No. No, I was not, and I'll knock on a little wood for that. I did time in Arizona. I actually did time in 2 different institutions in Arizona, but both of them were in the federal system. Joe Arpaio was the state, so I was able to dodge that bullet. But I have done all of the other fun stuff that he does anyway. I wore pink boxers. Everybody in the feds wears pink boxers, so that's a reality. I don't know why, but they buy pink. So we all wore pink boxers, or this kind of orange that's almost pink, kind of goes back and forth. So we dealt with that. The meat you get is green always. You can ask anybody in the feds. If you get meat, it's green. Like bread, like cold cuts, anything you get is green. It is absolutely foul. I did not meet Sean in Arizona. I spent most of my time. I was in different parts of the country when. But what's crazy is I actually was I got pretty involved in the disco biscuit thing. But I was in Houston, Texas, and Johnny Scoville and I may have dabbled. But there's a book coming out the second Friday in March that you can read all about that. You can read all about it. Yeah, the Morning Mayhem Show after the bars. It's definitely worth putting. Yeah, if you got a wrench, put that up there. If you've not hit subscribe, get over there and do it. I promise you'll thank me later. It's a lot of fun, man. It's a pretty cool show, and it's a couple of hours of it. It gives us an opportunity to sort of sink our teeth in it. And because Casper's got talent, which is really kind of a big deal, I do not, but Casper does. So if somebody in the audience brings something up, Casper's like, boom. The next thing you know, we've got it up there, and we can talk about it and do any kind of story you want. He's got talents, folks. He's not without skills. No, that's true. The one thing I will say, look, no, people badmouth prison all the time, that there's a lot of stuff in prison that is fantastic. And I'm the first to tell you, especially federal prison, there's good stuff there. And one of them is the fact that they give you a toilet that could churn 5 gallons of butter in 2.5 minutes flat. That may be longer than you can flush anything down a federal prison toilet. I am not joking you. You can flush a full-size military blanket and it will completely disappear, sucked out of you and gone like magic in about 3 seconds. It's fascinating. The other thing is their 3-bean salad. Say what you will. The Fed's 3-bean salad is to die for. They get it in cans. I kind of get the feeling when you look at the outside of the cans that this stuff may have been made a couple of hundred years ago. Like it's really, really old and gank looking, and it's always covered in dust. But that stuff's fire, man. If you've ever had it, it is really, really good stuff. But so do you think, honestly, and I'm not joking, if you believe that this was anything other than a publicity stunt, give me a 2 in the chat. If you think that this is just Kanye West trying to get attention for his album, put a 3. And I'm going to give you another option. If you think this guy is just so mentally ill that we're watching his cycle, and I think that that's the reality. I'm sorry. I know he wants to promote his album, and I know he's doing stuff to be over the top and be controversial, but there has to be a point in anybody's mind that's not mentally ill where you go, yeah, at this point, it's just, there is bad publicity. If you're praising Hitler, you've lost it, right? You've lost it. There's no way. And there are people out there, there's a ton of them out there that go, this is yay being yay, right? This is just Kanye West. He's not going to get the help of the Grammys. He's not going to get although he was nominated, but you know what I'm saying? He's not going to get the help that the Carters get. He's not going to get the huge people backing him because why? Well, he kind of went on an anti-Semitic rant the last time he did this, right? If you remember, Kanye's tweets used to be anything ever talked about. I think he's cycling again. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think you're spot on. Which is It's sad. It is, because this is, you remember when TMZ said, we're not going to do anything on Britney Spears anymore because it's like we're celebrating her mental illness and we're just not going to pick on Britney anymore. This was something that Harvey Levin did over at TMZ years ago. And at the time, I thought it was a pretty class act. Kanye West is going to end up doing something, and it's going to be, I don't want to be right on this. I really don't. But this guy's going to crash and burn in some kind of an epic way because he's getting further and further out of control. Do you guys see this? I mean, just the arrogance of stopping traffic in a city. You catch the wrong dude on the wrong night, strapped, and he's going to shoot you. Like, this is the kind of stuff where bad things can happen. People, I don't know, man. We live in a really stupid society. I'm sorry we do. But there's a lot of gangsters out there, man. There's a lot of people riding around dirty. And you stop the traffic in the middle of the road, you're asking for a really bad situation to happen. And this is just one example of this disease that infects all of the people in Hollywood, but seems to have Kanye West, the Kardashians. There's just a certain, you know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. It's like they want to be A-listers in the sense of the word that a Brad Pitt is an A-lister. You know what I mean? Like the stardom of, like, back in when Hollywood was Hollywood. They want to be the kind of stars that are adored. And when they start to fall out of favor, then they do whatever they got to do to get back so that we're looking at them and talking about them. And it gets to this disease level, you know, where the kind of crap that the Kardashians will do. I got an idea. I'll film my daughter, I'll film my daughter getting it on with this dude over here. You know, nothing too heavy, mouth hug, little dog style. What? Film it from 3 different camera angles, and then I'll sit down at the kitchen table with my daughter, allegedly, to pick out which camera angle she looks best at. If you have gotten to the point where you will fake a sex tape for the purpose of being famous, check yourself, man. You need some help. You need some serious help. That's all I'm saying. By the way, you guys know who Wes Watson is, right? We've talked about him on here before. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole for everybody if you don't know who he is, but Wes Watson is a YouTuber, and he's a YouTuber that got really big. He's like, he was a convict, and he used to do a lot of, hey, brother, kind of videos where, you know, he comes out and sounds like a professional wrestler telling you can turn your life around. And the truth is, the message is pretty killer. You guys know what I'm talking about? God bless you. Johnny Scoville. If your cat gets dookie foot, it's on you. See, what happens is this little cat wants to go in there and use the bathroom, but you know these Maine Coon cats will step in their own stuff sometimes as they're kittens. They get dookie foot, and I'm not taking any heat because the cat got dookie foot. So if you're going to deal with it, yep, she's dropping one. Here's the sad thing: this cat smells like a locker room full of football players, you know, that just had enchiladas for lunch. It's a bad situation for a little cat. Good God, man. Whew. Sorry. Honestly, it's not that bad. I'm sorry. Okay, so Wes Watson is a YouTuber that ended up starting to do some stuff. God, make that go away. He started to do some wow. Jeez Louise. Make it stop. I'm going to get out of here. He started to do a lot of weightlifting stuff, and he kind of looks really yoked out. He's kind of steroided up looking. I'll be honest, he looks like he's juicing. And a lot of people have come out of the woodwork to say this guy's full of crap. You can do a little, thank you. God help us. Now it smells like
better. Smells better.
Roses, cinnamon, and cat shat. Yeah, that's a cocktail right there. Okay, so Wes Watson, the reason that you guys might remember him is because he's bald, he's got tattoos on his head, he looks the convict, but I did a thing once where I talked about him. He was spotted in Miami, Florida, and while he was out having lunch at some restaurant, God help us, that stinks, Diddy walked in, and he said, hey, look at this, man. This is real. This is Miami. This is it's like a fairy tale, man. This kind of stuff happens in Miami. This is the king, he says to Diddy. Now, I'll be honest with you, man. If you're a solid convict, you ain't calling Diddy king. But that's neither here nor there. He also said he was a shot caller and all these things. And a bunch of people have come out of the woodwork to say the guy's full of crap. He's a fake convict. He didn't do any of these things. Everything he talks about is a lie. I don't know anything about Wes Watson. I don't. We all get a vibe off of somebody. And honestly, I don't get a great vibe off the dude. I don't. I think he's kind of an asshat in how he presents himself, especially that thing he did with Diddy. Neither here nor there. It's got nothing to do with me. But he keeps calling out trolls. People troll him and stuff, and he goes, "Come down to the gym, brother. I'll show you what's up." He does the like the World Wrestling Federation thing. Yeah, come on down there. We have an electric cat box, actually. This is the coolest cat box in the world. Problem is this kitten has to get out of that cat box without getting dookie on her foot. Yeah, dookie foot. And the cat stinks like she's a 400-pound Viking. On a cabbage diet. Anyway, I digress. So he keeps telling these trolls and stuff, "Come on down to the gym, brother, right? Show up. I'll show you what it's all about." Somebody took him up on it. A very, very large black guy decided to take him up on all the trash talking. And when he went down to call Wes out, the guy went in, turned his cell phone on, set it down. Wes decided to fight this dude, but not until a couple of his friends came around. Once he had a little backup, he was ready to start wading in there. And, I believe the black guy swung first, which is definitely in Wes's favor. Unfortunately, Wes then fought back with a weighted belt. He had a belt that had some weights on it, and one of his friends smacked the dude in the head with a barbell. So this kind of escalated, and he ends up in the back of, you guessed it, a police car. A cruiser. Yeah. Ends up in the back of a cruiser with handcuffs on. And I want to tell you something, boys and girls. If you've been to prison, and apparently he's been to prison, according to him, I guess a decent amount, right? Enough to climb the ranks and become a shot caller. Where's Kristen Melinda when you need her? Kristen Melinda, I said, he climbed the ranks and became a shot caller. 20-inch blades on the Impala. So they take him down to the police station, and he appears in front of the judge. And we looked at that this morning on the Morning Mayhem show with Casper. The judge was going to OR him. To make a long story short, they put up a very, very small bond. However, I'm looking over the charges, and I've been reading this stuff, man. And he's in deep trouble. Honestly, he's looking at doing about 10 years on this rip. If he doesn't get a lawyer that cuts him some kind of a deal, he's already been to prison. He's got a previous record. I think we might see that poor guy going back. And I want to tell you something, man. I take no joy whatsoever in that. Even if I don't like the dude, I got absolutely no joy. There's very few people on earth that I would sit back and go, yeah, I'm glad that dude's going to prison. Like that's not something you can take lightly. That's pretty disgusting stuff, man. Rick says, I watched Wes for around 5 minutes and was like you said, he reminds me of wrestling because he comes off that way. You can make your better life, man. Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't really want to get yelled at in my YouTubing, but yeah, I mean, whatever makes you happy. I loved the message. The message was you can make your life better. You can get up off the deck. It's everything we talk about on the lifeboat with a lot less screaming. Maybe I should scream. The guy had like 1 million subs or something. Would you? Why would they pay me better? Because I could do that. Welcome to the lifeboat, brother. I could do that crap. I promise you. Yeah, maybe I could. Can I have Johnny on one night? Absolutely. We do this all the time, actually. There's a really good chance you'll see Johnny tomorrow. Either I'll be on his channel or he'll be on mine. But we get together almost every weekend and do stuff together. Yeah, and if you've never seen us drink milk, eat rotten fish that sat in the desert for, oh, God. We've done some really gross things, me and Johnny. I don't know if you've ever seen some of the really rank and disgusting things that I've done to try to get people here, right? Snap into a Slim Jim. There you go. That was the Macho Man. That was Randy Savage, man. He did it. He was a little different, but yeah, he did the snap into a Slim Jim. Dookie foot. Yeah. They as she's a kitten and she's learning, and her foot's like that big. Until they grow into those things, she just really doesn't have the whole equipment thing worked out yet. You know what I mean? Like she's not quite good at the controls of being a cat just yet. So she tends to step into her poop and catch a little dookie foot. Tommy, then you would sound like Jay. No. Now I'll say this. JD Delay is not Wes Watson. They're a different animal. But I can see why you would say that, because he definitely has more of a in your face kind of a persona. But it's a little bit different. Wes Watson is a far more over the top version of that. But who's older, me or Johnny? Johnny is by 4 years. Fluffing the toes. Yeah, it's really weird when you look at the bottom of the foot of Johnny's cat. It's got way more like they got socks on. She skids all over the place on the ground, and she's come to figure out that she skids, so she slides, man. That's an idea, old man. Okay, old man on the hill. You should reach out to Kanye and offer to help him get clean and sober. I will have you know, I do this all the time to everybody. I really do. That's no joke. If there is a way where you can trace down to anybody, I always reach out to any star I can. And I tell them all the time, I will work with them. I will work with them for free. I would love to talk to them about chemicals and, their problems, and that I think I can help. As of yet, can you believe not one of these people has decided to take me up on my, if I sent them some ridiculous, what I should do is be like, I can get you clean. It's going to cost you $6.5 million, but I can do it. They'd probably reach out. I don't know though. I don't, in all honesty, I think I would be really freaked out working with any of them. The one that I reached out to probably the most, or tried to really would have wanted to help, would have been Bam Margera. I really would like to see Bam get sober. And here's the thing: I was never like a massive fan of Bam and the stuff that he does, but I just watching Bam unravel reminds me so much of watching my life unravel. That it's hard. It's a bummer. Did they drug Ye? Here's the thing: Ye at one time was taking a lot of medication for being bipolar. Now, the problem is, if you guys have never known anybody that's bipolar, when they're not medicated right, they begin to start, like, it's such a terrible disease, but they feel like the people that are trying to medicate them are trying to steal their creativity. The people that are trying to medicate them are trying to steal their personality, and they feel very much like those people are the enemy. Did I grow up hearing all those terrible jokes? Probably. I don't know. I don't know how much. Tampa B man, good to see you. How are you? I probably did grow up hearing all of those bad jokes, but I don't know that I remember much of them. My memory of my really early youth. Yeah, I don't think he was doing it then, but we certainly. I know I've heard all of them at one time or another. Yeah, Izzy. What I should do, Izzy, is probably just get medicated for ADHD, and then maybe just do away with the thumbnails altogether. The meltdown that is going on right now with Kanye West is a depressing thing to watch, and I got to be really honest. I want so much for somebody to step in and stop this. There have been, I think, a lot of times throughout entertainment history where we watched people begin to do this, and they circle the drain, and we watch them get more and more out of control. Who comes to mind is like Chris Farley was one. Everybody that was around Farley knew he was partying way too hard. He was doing really erratic things. And I realize what Ye is doing is different, but you can't believe this guy has both oars in the water at this point. You can't. I mean, what he's doing is almost trying to destroy. Hold on. Who wants to talk about Suboxone? Because I'd be happy to talk about Suboxone. Who wanted to do that? Did I miss one? Put some cues in front of your question and ask me about Suboxone. I'll be happy to help. If I missed it, because I don't see that. Felix the Cat, what's happening? Always been a fan of Felix the Cat. Charlie Sheen is another one that was sad to watch. I don't think Kanye has very good people around him. The thing with Charlie Sheen is, though, he's still with us, but there are people out there that aren't, and I think Kanye West is a danger to himself. I'm sorry, I really do. You know, the pulling the crap where you're parking cars sideways when you're stepping out and doing things in traffic. You're asking people to get naked. You're all of these things that are happening are pretty messed up. Oh, the doctors want to put you on Suboxone for chronic pain. Let them try. So here's the thing: the drug is called buprenorphine. Don't get hung up on the Suboxone part of it or anything else. I mean, it's a painkiller, right? It's an agonist and an antagonist, and for a lot of people, it's a miracle painkiller. I would say let the doctor try. Go in with an open mind. The beautiful thing about it is, if it doesn't work for you, there's you can try a lot of other things. You have an opportunity. Look, the other option is they're going to put you on a regular opiate. It's the choice is up to you. I'm not a doctor, but for me, it wouldn't. There's no choice. I can't do an opioid. I mean, if I do a regular, no joke opioid, I know what happens. I've been doing that my whole life. Yeah, Tara Jackson. This is a myth about the substance. It really is. I've read about that as well. About how you'd be 6 months down the road or 4 months down the road after you've quit, and the next thing you knew, it was and you were good to go. You know something? I've never heard anybody say that methadone was easy to kick, but God bless you. Never heard that before in my life. It was the hardest substance in the world for me to kick, but. I took it to get high, but I wouldn't take it to get straight. I got that. And if you took it to get high, that's a very interesting dynamic for people that use Suboxone to catch a buzz. Because I don't have that perspective at all. I knew a bunch of people in prison that the first time they ever tried that is because they were trying to get high, and they would buy it they would buy it in amounts that were so small that because of my age, I wouldn't be able to see it. I'm not even joking. They would slice these things into these itty bitty little pieces. Yeah. Oh no, cheap treats causing cat farts. Could be worse. You could have Johnny Scoville's cat. Anybody had authority? I don't know. No, I couldn't tell you anything about that, Wharton Thistle. And that's, you don't hear me say that very often about chemicals. I'm usually pretty good with them, but I do not know anything about levetiracetam or levetiracetam. I don't know what that. I've never heard of that substance, which is odd. In the UK, they are saying magic mushrooms are all right to have. That's happening in a lot of places. There's this big push that in the drug world toward things that are organic. There have been coffee shops that have done that in Amsterdam for a while. It has been decriminalized in the United States in the state of Oregon, and there are some other states that are also decriminalizing the use of psilocybe cubensis. It's also being used in psychology and psychiatry now, very much in the same way that ketamine is being used rather to treat chronic depression. There are people who basically microdose psilocybin every day, and they use it for that, they use it as an antidepressant, or they use it as a way to level out mental health. I am not a proponent of, I'm not against it either. I just don't know squat. When I tried microdosing, and every time I say this, people go, well, you're not supposed to feel it. I kind of get that, but I felt nothing. And for me, the way that when I do psilocybin, I'm trying to do it for the purpose of Like I do it on a psychiatric holiday, if that makes sense. I spend a couple of weeks getting ready to do it, and I do it as a way to try to break through and find things out about myself. I don't go out, I don't party on it, but I can't imagine doing it every single day. But I get ketamine every week for severe chronic depression. It is a miracle, says Izzy. I have heard, I would say 8 out of 10 people that I have met that have gone down this road say exactly what Izzy says. There are really small doses of ketamine compared to the heroic doses that are putting people into the K-hole. If you know what I mean, the way that most people take ketamine for psychiatry is are pretty small doses in comparison to what the psilocybin has an effect on serotonin. Oh, I believe it does. In fact, I believe that when you trip hard and you take a lot of it, so much of that serotonin gets dumped out all at once that you get really weird. Donna Hallman says K-hole is hell. I wasn't a fan either. Apparently, allegedly, Diddy dug the K-hole. That was his goal. He wanted to go hard, get K-hole, freak out, then come back out of it and party, or so they say. I'm glad to hear that, Vapor. Good for you, man. Good for you. You were in the K-hole in the medical setting. I'll be damned. You know what, though? I think if I had to do it, I'd rather be in a medical. I was in a hotel room. I fell back onto the bed, and it was a nightmare. I had a very bad time. Ketamine infusions have been a miracle for my chronic pain, says Grouchy Mama Bear. Of the people that I've talked to on the lifeboat, it's been about an 80-20 split between the people that said ketamine has saved my life. It's been an absolute miracle. About 8 out of 10 people thought that. The other 20%, it didn't work for, but 80% is pretty damn good. Anna Nicole Smith was very messed up, and I loved Anna Nicole Smith. Really. Is Kanye a risk to others? Many others are. Here's my question to all of you. Here's my question for all of you. Antoinette, talk to your doctor. If you've been on a benzo for 30 years, you would need to come off so slowly. You need to talk to your doctor about that, because benzos are not something that you get off lightly. And I assume there was a reason they prescribed them in the first place. And very often that reason doesn't go away, right? So just please talk to a doctor and be careful. Please be careful. I knew you meant benzos. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Is Kanye a risk to others? Here's my question to you. Would you be surprised if his girlfriend came out in, say, 3 or 4 weeks and said that all of the things that Cassie was saying, if his girlfriend came out and said those things, we would believe her without a doubt. Are we watching that kind of abuse take place right now? I don't know. It's a frightening concept to me. I don't want to feel like we're watching the same way that it was happening for 10 years with Cassie. Is this what we're looking at? Is Kanye abusing this woman the same way? Because there's a porn star out there that is saying he likes hiring very talented porns to come in and abuse his girl. Are we watching the same thing? Is she being abused? Was she forced to go out there, right? Hold on one second. Ye doesn't have any boundaries, and he is just acting inappropriate art. You know what? I think you're right, man. Finding the forgotten path. I think you're probably spot on. This all gets cloaked in this. The guy's a genius. This is actually just Ye being Ye, and this is art. Him out there shooting his girl, with a camera in the middle of a busy city street. Yeah, I mean that's art. It's art unless the guy waiting online happens to be a member of one of those organizations that's got a really crappy sense of humor. I'm telling you, man, you can't do these kind of stunts. Is he dangerous to someone? I think he's dangerous to his girl, but I'm a no hack convict. I don't know. But to me, that doesn't look like a very healthy relationship. You know, you start snapping through photos, and I'm looking at one, and she's dressed like the freaking gimp from Pulp Fiction. I guess if it's your get down and it's all consensual, why are you photographing it? And how is that art? I don't know. I don't get it. Is it him just wanting to swing his trunk and tell us that he is the master of his domain and that this girl is under his authority? What did he call it? It was pretty freaking disturbing. He called it something really nasty. Dominion? He has dominion over her. That's what he said. Right? Sounds downright biblical, doesn't it? I have dominion over my wife. This ain't no woke-ass feminist shit. She's with a billionaire. Why would she listen to any of you dumbass broke female dogs? People say the red carpet doesn't want to, but she definitely wouldn't have been able to do it without my approval. You stupid ass woke pawns. I have no respect or empathy for anyone living because no one living can F with me. But I do love some people and I give them favor. Who the heck? He has dominion over people. He gives people favor. He thinks he's Jesus, man. The name of his album is Jesus. Like, this dude thinks oh, man. You don't think he's mentally ill? How is it that the record labels are letting this happen? Yeah, we'll make some money off of him? Man, get it together. This dude's in deep trouble. Is it me? Right? This isn't fun. This isn't fun to watch. Hey, Electric Boogaloo, what's happening? This isn't fun to watch anymore, man. Honestly, it's like watching someone pull the wings off of a fly. This dude's really unhinged. And for God's sake, somebody, if you're in this guy's sphere of influence, if you're in this guy's orbit, maybe step in and tell him to slow his roll with all the Nazi stuff, huh? Right? Maybe tell him to quit praising Hitler and starting things off with shalom and being a wise ass, because 5150, right? I mean, maybe a little criminally insane, maybe a little 5150. This guy probably needs for his own protection. And look, it sucks because of what happens with Britney and these people. And look at poor Wendy Williams. The conservatorship is scary as hell. But what do you do when a guy is acting like a no joke third string lunatic? When the stuff he's doing doesn't make any sense, when he's going out of his way to destroy his career. And I got news for you folks. He's not a billionaire, right? Forbes magazine went, no. He's not a billionaire, man. It sounds good, but I don't see why not. I think I'm going to start going with it. You know what? I too am a billionaire. There, I said it. Ye has professed to be Christian, but he has forgotten that the Bible teaches that a man has dominion over his wife if Christ has dominion over him, and he clearly is submitting to Christ. Well, the problem with that is that this guy looks more like he is submitting to Diddler. Yeah, I'm looking at text messages between a porn star and him, allegedly, and they're out there. Somebody needs to do something to help Ye, because this ain't healthy, man. This is super, super unhealthy. And guess what? Words do mean things. Now, I don't mean you should arrest people for it, because, sorry. But all of this hate, pretty simple stuff. What direction are you moving in? You moving closer to love? So you think he might be MK Ultra'd? I'm not. There are people I think that have been MK Ultra'd. I think that the guy that shot John Lennon's a pretty good bet. I think the guy that shot the Pope was a pretty good bet. Who else? That whole time frame. Reagan, guy that shot Reagan. You know, these guys happen to be carrying around copies of Catcher in the Rye, several of them too, which was a little weird, wasn't it? I do think they're out there. I don't know about Ye. I mean, I feel like, what's the end game? Are they just testing their skills and they want to show what they're capable of? What's the end game with what they're doing? I knew what you meant, Allison Metcalf Palumbo. I think I read it right. His wife looked like she was in a trance, says Nikki K. I agree with you, Nikki. I think that's actually what she looked like to me. Where are the Kardashians? Well, if I had to guess, right, I would say torturing children and stomping on puppies. I'm sorry, I don't know where they are. They give me the creeps, man. Let's back Wendy Williams. I feel bad for Wendy Williams. I feel bad for people that get put into conservatorships, but I feel like the people that really need them, it never happens to. Look at this guy. You know what? We're going to be having a conversation someday because this is going to escalate to something that is either going to be criminal or it's going to be heartbreaking. We're watching a guy spiral out of control. And if what he's selling us on this, I'm no longer bipolar, right? Now I'm autistic. So are you no longer taking your medication? Because that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. I mean, there was a time where this would not have been the guy to make an album and call himself Yeezus, right? And start talking. I mean, the way he's talking, he's trying to sound like, I think he's a really sick man. I'm not a doctor, people. I'm a drug addict. But I'll tell you what, this guy needs a whole hell of a lot of help. You think MK Ultra might have been the Unabomber? Yeah, the Unabomber was out there, man. Ted Kaczynski was kind of a fascinating case. The Black Hawk pilot, I think here's the thing with the Black Hawk pilot, just to play the devil's advocate. If you ever look at an airplane, all of those lights that flash, you can't see them from the back. They're designed to flash forward. There's things on the back of them right there. They're directional, and they're definitely... You got on night vision goggles. You're in a corridor of lights going on everywhere. And if you happen to look into one of those lights, you kind of blind yourself. I don't know. I'm just playing the advocate, but I don't know. Certainly a lot of people lost their lives, and it seems like something that didn't need to happen, which is kind of depressing, And if you asked about my back earlier, it's better than it was last night. It is. It's not good. By a damn stretch, but it's better than it was last night. I would like to keep this going for an hour. I simply can't. But tomorrow, I will be going live several times tomorrow. I don't do an after the bars on Sunday. Casper and I take Sunday off. Why do you think Kris Jenner is selling one of her houses? I think Kris Jenner is... I think that Kris Jenner is an evil, evil human being. Not exactly sure what that play is yet, but I've been starting to look into a couple of things about them. And I'll tell you, folks, I think it might be tomorrow. If it isn't tomorrow, it's going to be the next day. But I'm going to be doing a history of the Mormon Church, the one that they tell you and the one that really happened. And that's going to be coming out. And I hope that we're all friends when it's over, because I know that when you talk about people's religions, sometimes you really step onto, people's feelings. And I'm not trying to do that, but this one is absolutely worth talking about. Official Sean Atwood clips. I'm a fan. I am. All right, people, between now and the next time that I see you, do me a favor and reach out and try to save somebody. All right. God bless y'all. Good night.